Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. We're going to be getting started here soon. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Kay. Hi, Jen. Hi. Hey, Sandy. Yay. I'm so excited. I see Connie. So happy. Okay, gallery. I'm going to make sure that I record today. Okay, good. I am recording because I didn't record last time. That was scary. Let's see. I see that. Let's see. Jen's coming on. Yeah, Jen. So happy.
Hey,
Yay. I'm so glad you guys are all here. Yay.
Sandy, my girl.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
sweetie. What's going on?
My buds. Hello, everyone.
No.
Gonna wait for, I think another
everybody.
minute or so. Hello. How are you, Jen?
Doing good.
Good to see you.
You too.
Ah.
Okay, now is it 10 a.m. where you are?
It is. It is now 10:01.
Ah, I figured it out. Sweet. It's hard to figure the time zones out.
I know, isn't it? Isn't it? I know. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start by just kind of introducing ourselves. We could do that, and that way we can go into the Facebook group and not feel so weird. So, yay! Let's see here. Well, okay. I think you guys know who I am, right? Do I need to introduce myself? Hi, I'm Tony. I'm doing the shindig. I was so nervous last night. I think I overfilled, I overstuffed this class, and then I thought, oh wait, no, that's a little too much. And so, all right, settling the energy. I gotta do that. Hey, girl, how you doing? It's another Jen. We've got another Jen. She's here. Yay. Okay, so we will start with is there anybody that would like to start? You share something? Yay. Okay, awesome. Sherry.
I'll get it over with.
Yay.
I'm Sherry, and I'm from very, very cold Columbus, Ohio. And it's 8 o'clock at night here. Really excited to be here and learn so much. I'm just soaking it all in right now. And it's really nice to meet all of you. Glad to be here. I retired the end of last June, so I'm really getting into what I want to do now. So, thank you, Tony.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited for you that I'm like,
Me too.
One of these days I'm going to graduate too, you know? I call it graduating.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. So next, anyone?
I'll go. Get it over with. I'm the introvert. Sherry, I'm so jealous that you're retired. I look forward to that day someday. Someday. My name's Sandy, and I am currently based in State College, Pennsylvania, so the middle of Pennsylvania. So maybe not too far from me, Sherry. And I'm just looking forward to learning everything from Tony. Every time, I attend one of Tony's courses or workshops, I learn so much. So thanks, Tony.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yay.
Oh, and I'm a Virgo for the record.
Oh yeah, it's always good to share our
yeah.
Hey Kathy. So good to see you. We're doing introductions so that we don't all feel weird in the Facebook group.
Yeah, that's good. Do you want me to go?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, Kathy, in upstate New York, a place called Athens. I'm an Aquarian, retired and hit the 80 mark. And I'm still kicking.
80 is so good. I'm like,
oh, well, let's talk about that later. No, I think something in my head just switched on the other day and said, you're 80, now you're old, because I'm finding myself going, I wonder if I should do that.
You inspire me though so much, for real. Like I just love like the emails that you send to me. I'm like, dang, she is really getting out there and doing all kinds of things. It just gives me so much, like seriously, it's so inspiring. I'm 44 now and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, you go, girl. That's all I gotta say. You go.
Have to say you don't look 80.
Oh, bless
You
you.
don't.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Not
You
at
are
all.
beautiful.
Thank
You are
you.
It's
vibrant.
just a number. Just a number. You know?
It is. I have a play date with a little neighbor girl that's 2.5. I'll tomorrow in the snow.
Aw.
We'll
I
see.
love that. I saw the pictures of the
Isn't
last
she
time. Oh my gosh, so sweet.
precious? She's precious. My
So
little
cute.
neighbor
like-
playmate.
Oh, so adorable.
So have I missed others?
No, let's
Mm.
see here. We had Sherry and Sandy start. And oh, Jane is coming in. Jane. All right, Jane is coming in.
Hi.
Okay, so Jane is in the UK, I believe, and so it's late there.
Mm.
So I'm happy that she was able to join us. That's so awesome. But yeah, so Sherry shared she's just recently retired, so she's starting a whole new
Mm.
life, and then we've got Sandy who also
know
shared,
we're
and she's our resident, she's our Virgo, our Virgo introvert. Who
Me
else here is an
too.
introvert?
I'm
Oh,
also a
too?
Virgo.
Awesome. We'll be talking a lot about Virgos too. So so we've got Jen and Kathy. You're both Aquarians, yeah.
Yeah.
You know it.
Jan. Where's Jan?
Right here.
So
Oh,
good.
there you are. Hi, Jan, Aquarian.
Hi, I'll go next. Yes, I'm Jen. Nice to meet you all. I've known Tony for about a year now, I think. Has it been almost a year? I think.
Yeah.
Maybe next month or so.
I know you're my girl.
Yeah.
She's
An
my rock.
Aquarian. Oh man. I'm an introvert too, but just like Sandy, we're kind of emerging from our shells, aren't we, girl?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We
Yes, we
find our
are.
people.
So just here to learn more about myself, about astrology and everything. And I love all your workshops. So I'm excited.
So
Very
great you're here. So excited.
Nice to meet you all.
nice.
So
I'll
Jen?
keep Jen flow going. I'm Jen. I'm in Ontario, Canada, up about an hour and a half north of Toronto. So it's 8 o'clock here too, so that's awesome. I am a Leo. A lot of Cancer in my extras, so I kind of go between wanting to be out there and wanting to kind of just sit in the background and so I'm really excited to be here because I love anything Tony does. I'm like just a big
Sure.
fan, and I'm just so excited to learn and just to be in her presence. And she just puts so much into what she shares. It's just like fascinating to me. So I'm so excited to be a part of it and meet everybody here.
Thank you, Jen. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. Let's see, we've got Connie, and then I think Sandy. I think you're on here twice. It's possible, unless this is another Sandy.
I think it's always weird when I log on, it always puts me on twice. I don't know. I don't.
Oh,
Okay. I don't think
thought-
I'd be.
I just don't want to miss anyone. I'm like, okay.
I
Love
don't
it.
think I get rid of the other one.
Jane, would you like to share a little bit about you?
Yeah, sorry, it's really dark. I can't get the lights on very well.
It's really late there too. Thank you so much for joining live. I'm so
Yeah,
glad you're here.
So that's it. I was trying to get some sleep beforehand and I haven't done. Maybe I'm like some of the other people. The fact that I've got no light on makes me pretty introverted. It makes me look like a bit of an introvert. But I
in the dark.
get absorbed in my music, actually making music, because it's pretty time consuming, or magnetic. It's pretty magnetic as well, really. Yeah, so are you swapping sun signs? I'm a Pisces. I did my own chart when I was in my teens, so I've studied astrology, but I liked the fact of what you're doing, and it resonates with me, and it sparks me off to it's good. It's personal development. That's why I'm coming. That's why I've come, because
Yeah.
you're encouraging us to live our purpose, and it helps you to do it more. If you're doing it already, it still helps you to do it some more.
Absolutely. And I know that
Really a lot.
yeah, and you're doing, and when did you start creating music? Because I know you started a program not too long ago, correct?
Yes, doing that program helped me to make more, actually. That helped me to focus. I was doing an MA in music and composition, so that was when I started to focus, and I started that in 2014. So that's quite a while ago. But coming to the point and actually producing them for real is still a biggish kind of deal, because there's so many people out there teaching, and they're kind of saying, well, so I don't know, maybe it takes a lot of coaching, or the coaches are getting out there and getting on top of you as well, really, so you've got to find your own balance.
I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're joining us. How about
So that you're going to be looking at people's charts anyway. Yes, as we go along.
Yes. And as long as if I have your birth information, then I can look at your chart. I know I have the birth information for a lot of you in here, because I've looked at your charts before. But yes, we will be looking at charts toward the end, because this is being recorded and it's going to be up. I'm going to be cutting some certain parts out, that way, to protect our anonymity and, our privacy and all that stuff. But yeah, I feel like sharing our charts is one of the best ways to learn, really. So yeah, so we'll be doing that.
Great, really
toward the
great,
end.
definitely.
So, yeah. Yay. So I see that Renee just joined us, and Connie, Renee, would one of you like to share?
Okay, I'm here. I'll turn on my camera. I'm in the bed. I'm nursing, healing a compression fracture of my back.
Oh,
so I'll turn on my camera, but I'm in the bed here. So sorry I don't look so great.
No worries. No worries. I totally get it.
Hello.
Hello. So glad you're here.
Well, I'm a Scorpio. I live in Augusta, Georgia. But I'm originally from Ohio, so go Bucks. And I'm here basically to, learn more about myself and my journey, and see what kind of makes me tick, I guess. So I'm just happy to be here. This is my first workshop with Tony. So.
I love it. Welcome. So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Thank you. Welcome. And yeah, I've got a lot of Scorpio energy. So I'm like, yeah, Scorpio, I got that. And Renee.
Hi. I just joined at the last second here. I'm happy to be here though.
So glad you're here.
I'm taking a lot of courses right now. So I told myself that, I was kind of telling myself, even though I wanted to take this course, I was telling myself no more courses. And then it just started really needling me today. And so I was like, you know what, maybe I should just do this, because I think my ego is like, you're taking too many courses. What are you doing? So I was like, you know what, I really feel pulled to join, so I'm going to do it. I'm a Libra. I'm in the state of Oregon. And I like your explanation about coming into your sun sign. That's who we're learning to be, as our sun signs, so to speak. And that makes a lot more sense for me, because I have my moon sign is Pisces, and I feel almost kind of like I relate more to that more of the time, the Pisces. And so I'm like, well, maybe I have really kind of mastered or gotten Pisces down. And so this Libra stuff is a bit different, and that's all right. But anyways, so happy to be here.
So glad you're here. And I I can relate to just wanting to do all the things and having a completely overfilled plate and you know.
Yeah, I'm interested in so many things right now. I just want to learn all the things. I'm not always like this. It's just the last, I don't know, couple months, I just started feeling like it's time to dig into everything at the same time. So I guess that's what I'm doing.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I wonder what kind of
Right
perfect
on.
year you're in. So I'm just like so curious to look at your chart. All right. So awesome. Awesome. I think that's all. Did I miss anybody?
I don't think Kay went.
Kay.
Kay.
Yeah, I didn't go. I'm in outside of Rochester, New York, about a mile south of
Okay.
Lake Ontario. So we've got a lot of snow and it's still coming down pretty much. But I was born in and grew up in Indiana, but I've been living my life mostly here. And yeah, I'm a Virgo and I'm all the Virgo things, Cancer rising. And
I love it. All the
Yeah.
Virgo things.
yeah, been an editor, publisher, programmer, all the little detailed little things. So
So you really are a Virgo, because I used to be in publishing too.
yeah.
That's so very mercurial too. I mean, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is it's publishing, it's communication, and yeah, that's so interesting. And did you say you were doing computer stuff?
Computers.
Yep, that's my wife. She's going into computer. She's doing data analysis.
Yeah, I did a lot of database things, and now I'm more into website content and programming, and think
I can hear the
still
mutability.
doing a lot of that database stuff.
So awesome. So awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Is anybody else? Did I get everybody already now? Making sure. Okay, awesome. So glad you guys are all here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to start by I'm going to mute everybody. So if you want to unmute yourself, feel free to unmute yourself. If you want to like interrupt me at any time, feel free. That way, if we've got any sort of like craziness happening in the background, we can it'll be muted. So but we'll start out with a quick just grounding meditation. So just so we can come into our space and just be here. So take a minute to just settle into your seat or your bed. Finding just kind of getting comfortable, allowing your hips to settle in, allowing your feet to settle down into the ground, uncrossing your legs if they're crossed. Taking a deep breath in and filling up your belly. And out. Connecting into your heart space, breathing in and out. And now looking into your heart, seeing there's a little keyhole. And allowing yourself to sort of look into the keyhole, into your heart. Observing what all is in there. And as you explore the inner workings of your heart, you find your way to, it's almost like a candle light. And it never goes out. It's your inner pilot light. It's there in the center of your chest. And allow this light to just draw you in. Imagine you're just staring at it, allowing yourself to be drawn into that light. And its warmth. And as you settle into this and sense the warmth, you're allowing yourself to sort of be enveloped by this light. It's a rosy golden light that's just surrounding you. It starts to grow and surround you and your body. And it continues to grow and fill up the room and circle around all of your loved ones that are in your homes. Extending out of your home. Into your town, into your city. Noticing it, connecting with trees, soaking into the ground. This light is really incredibly nourishing. It's full of possibility and promise, potential. And it just ripples out to the edge of your state, extending throughout the entire country, over the oceans, into distant lands, unknown territories. This is infinite love and infinite joy. Allowing it to just extend up and out. It's extending in all directions, down into the ground, down into the earth, up into the cosmos. And as you turn and look, you see the sun. And as you observe the sun, you notice that this light that is within you is fueled by this great source. You may even look over and see one of us just connect. We're all connected to this great big ball of light, interweaving our potential into the great tapestry of life, of existence, of our existence, of eternal existence. You notice that any sort of resistance or negativity is just burnt away. It's non-existent in this space. It just is. You just are connecting to your solar self and your full potential. It's time to come back. But allow yourself to say whatever it is that you need to say to the sun, if you want to offer it some gratitude. And if there's anything in particular you would like to ask of the sun, feel free to do that here now. And allow the nutrients of this connection to soak into every cell of your body. Of your lunar body. Remembering that here on Earth we have breath. But we are connecting to our eternal being. So we're going to allow ourselves to come back into our lunar, our corporal, our body selves, our meat suits. Allowing your breath to just kind of float yourself back. And you can stay connected to the solar source, sun. Coming back into your heart space. Sensing that light also extending all the way down into the ground. That's anchoring you down. Following that thread all the way back up to your heart space. Bringing it in. And it really is amazing how much our bodies are capable of holding. We're so expansive, but yet our bodies are so contained. We're all it's packed in these little tiny itty bitty packages here on the planet. So we're coming into the heart space again. Breathing into the lungs. And allowing yourself to just kind of wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, tapping, opening your eyes. Yay. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you guys. I need to take my notes off here though. I'm kind of like a little woozy now after that. Like, woo! So, let's see here. All right. There we go. Okay. So yeah, we started up with our introductions. We did the orientation. I just want to let you know that that we in the Teachable portal, I'm going to be posting our movement practice as well as the creativity practice in there. So you can expect to see that there. I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later, but yeah, the chart reading, make sure that just consider that your birth information will be up there it's possible that we can just look at your chart the way it is. So if you don't want your birth information to be shared, just say, I don't want my birth information to be shared. That's fine. And also we're starting with the very first part of the hero's journey today. And this is the earth cycle. So but I just want to go back just a little bit. I want to call in the directions, make sure we've got a nice little container here. But here we go. So calling in the directions. This is our opening. I want to make sure that I have everything. Yeah, here we go. Okay. We give thanks to the power of the East, the power of initiation. We give thanks to the power of the South, the power of creation. We give thanks to the power of the West, the power of transformation. We give thanks to the power of the North, the power of purification and manifestation. We give thanks to the Mother Earth, our foundation. We give thanks to Father Sky, our aspiration. I now ask and affirm that there be a cosmic circle opened around us for only the duration of this session, so that anything and everything that comes through be only for the growth, betterment, fulfillment, and highest good of all concerned. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay. And another piece of this, the orientation, is that I've got a talking stick sort of policy. So if you would like to say anything, feel free to just unmute and talk. But also I might have questions, and that at that point I'll mute myself, and then you can feel free to speak and unmute yourself. So yeah, so let's see here. Moving on. All right. So yeah, we're starting with the Earth cycle. And what I wanted to talk really fast about what the Earth cycle is. But before that, there's just a few things that I wanted to talk about with regard to the sun and our solar selves. So we have the opportunity in our lives to become more our sun, as we've talked about during the workshop. And one thing to consider is that your universe is only as big as you can envision yourself. But it really, truly, I don't know if the visualization earlier on kind of helped, but you can see how expansive and how our potential can really, really expand, and beyond even what we can perceive. So yeah, our sun has the ability to shine through infinite space. You can't be solar all the time. You can't. The sun, when you consider the sun here on our planet, the sun goes through sort of like, sometimes it's cloudy, and sometimes it'll be like a little bit overcast, and that's okay. That's normal. So the same thing goes for us in our lives. At times things are going to be a little bit heavier, and so you can expect that with your sun's journey as well. There are different levels of the sun. We can start off with like, I am so fabulous, sort of like that it's so cute, because when you've got little kids, they are very, they've got that ego, they go through that egocentric sort of period of their lives. It's really cute. But at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, they've got their needs, and you've got to tend to their needs. And that's the very first level. And as we go through life, we kind of branch out and into this like sort of infinite, like Pisces level. We start off at the Aries level and move on to the Pisces level. Not saying that there's any of the signs are more, have more juice or are better than any of the other signs. It's just that we all have each of the signs in our charts, and we all have planets in some of these different signs. And so it's important to remember that wherever those signs are placed in our charts, that's how we're going to experience that sort of growth process. So in the shadow of the sun, like say it's it's overcast, we go through the seasons of the year. during the winter time, it's a time of hibernation. And during the summertime, as we know, it's a time, that's when we're out and we're getting out and about. Springtime is just, that's my favorite season. I just love it. I just love getting out there and seeing all the flowers, and, it's like life, things are coming back to life. And so it's, we also are very in tune with each of the seasons, and each of the signs also reflects that. So let's see here. So when we're connected on a larger level, our force gets stronger. So it's really cool to consider that whenever we are moving through each of the signs throughout the year, you can connect into that energy and our life force. You can kind of play on the sun and ask your sun what it's asking you, or what it wants you to know, and you can sort of move through these periods, through these seasons. Say, Aries season is about to come up, and so it's like we can move into the Aries season and explore really what does that mean. Right now, I believe we just moved into Pisces. Exploring that Pisces season. What does that mean? And it's actually something that is it's intuitive. You can actually tap into your heart and connect in with the Pisces season and explore it. Just feel into it, explore it, by just what you're naturally feeling like doing. Part of the hero's journey is just tracking the way you live. And are you tired? Are we always exhausted? Are you pushing yourself a little much? This is especially, during, say it's your Aries, it's an Aries season for you. And if you do perfections, I think I did a perfections reading on a couple of you, but wherever your how perfected house is, that's going to be the sign that's going to be kind of ruling over you for that year. So it's like you get to really tune into that energy for a year and just be like, wow, that was an interesting year. And, that was an Aries sort of year. I started a bunch of stuff. Wow. That's kind of the energy of Aries. And so we perfect into a different sign throughout our every 12-year cycle. We will, for one year it'll be Aries, the next year it'll be Taurus, and so on and so forth. So yeah, let's see here. I'm getting through. Okay, and so now onto the Earth. This is the Earth cycle of the process. The very first part of the hero's journey. When we start off with the hero's journey, it is, when you consider it's just sort of the time when you're at home. You don't necessarily want things to change. Comfort it's really important. We have our earth signs, the Taurus. We have Virgo and Capricorn. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus is, your Taurus, your inner Taurus might say, I don't want to move. Your Virgo might say, what needs to be changed in material reality? Can it be taken care of here? Can it be taken care of now? Like, I don't really want to move. Like, let's just kind of hang out here. It'll analyze the situation, to see like whether or not things really do need to change. And the Capricorn part of you is going to be sensing disruption in the integrity of the truth in the moment. And so during this Earth time, it's really interesting to see. A lot of times when we're hearing the call for our hero's journey, it might be something that knocks us off our horse. It knocks us out of our, it's going to be something that's going to knock us out of our earthly, our more lunar sort of physical reality almost. It kind of feels like that. It's important to consider, what do I know to be true? Is it necessary to change? Earth is very slow to change. It's associated with the lunar, again, lunar material, Mother Earth, Gaia, all of that stuff, anything that's actually physical and tangible. That's the earth. And so with our movement practice this week, you're going to be, it starts off very like down on the ground, and not moving. And then you get into moving with the earth and with gravity. So, and the hero with 1,000 faces, let me see, I want to see if I know that there's somebody in the chat. Good. Awesome. Okay. I'm seeing me too. Yes, me too. Okay. I'm like, okay. Wish I had more hours in the day for all the things I'm interested in. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the hero's journey was written by the work was done by Joseph Campbell. He introduced this work in his book it's called Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a psychological exploration of myth. Our astrological archetypes, let me see, here we go. I'm going to go into symbolism. Our astrological archetypes symbolize various parts of the journey. I have this really giant Greek myth book and I love it. And I just bought it and I think I posted it in the group, but the hero is part of the divine, and all hero stories that you see on TV, you'll see that the hero is a part of the divine. That's one of the elements. Hero thinks that they're like everybody else at first. The hero has a nagging feeling that they're different, that they have a feeling that they've got this special destiny that they're designed for. One of the themes throughout the journey is the discovery of this true origin of themselves, right? Which is both mortal and immortal. This allows us to perceive a deep sense of duality. We're not merely made of earth, and we're not just doomed to eat, reproduce, and die, right? We all have special, unique, personal destinies with a responsibility to contribute and make, this life happen. And so here we go. So in the significance of the sun, all of the planets serve the sun. All of the planets serve your sun. So, and it's true that sometimes you might have the sun conjunct another planet, especially an outer planet. Those outer planets are a doozy when you have the two kind of, linking arm in arm. And it's like, oh, now you're an ambassador for like one of the outer planets. But your sun, all of the planets are going to serve your sun, especially the inner planets. That's going to be Venus, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter. Saturn is a really interesting one. He can be a little but yeah. But the sun is progressive, it's active, it's dynamic. It unfolds during the course of your lifetime. We never finish developing the sun. It's like your university, always in a process of becoming toward some sort of future vision, future goal. In Joseph Campbell's work, the hero is always on the way to becoming something. It's not, they don't just kind of like loaf. It'd be really boring to see, our heroes just kind of like watching Netflix and eating potato chips. So the hero must earn the right to be a hero. So you must earn the right to embody the sun sign that you were born with. The sun is masculine energy. That's not to be confused with male, but it's masculine energy. It's more like get out, spreading out, and about all over the place. Moon is more, pulling in. So you go out in the world and you experience it. It's goal oriented. It senses that there's a quest to be pursued, a profound mystery to the core of me. Sometimes in fairy tales, especially, say a child has a step parent, I'm thinking about like Hansel and Gretel, or like, all of those sort of like Disney movies and stuff. you know, a child will have a step parent, or even this may have been your story too. A child has a step parent and their real parents are out there somewhere. And so they're daydreaming about these, like these parents that must be out there somewhere. Like they don't belong to the parent that they're with. And so some children may fantasize that their parents are actually someone else. They may sense that their parents hold them back and that they have a special destiny, which involves escape from the oppressive environment and from the discovery of his or her true birth. And whoever the child may fantasize the missing parent is, this is a hint about your solar self. You know, whoever that parent might be, it's like, what are those qualities? So those are some qualities that you recognize, part of your solar self recognizes and can identify with. If our parents no longer are with us, the fondest memories that we have of them, the ones that stick with us, are exactly those that also are speaking to our son. It's interesting because you'll have siblings that don't remember the parents the same way, you know, or grandparents or whatever. But you know, I'm thinking about all of the people that you have expressed a fondness over, and they say that all of those qualities that you see in other people are also inside yourself, and that's your son. And this could be because of their sun placement. I saw that there was a comment. Let's see, chat. Definitely great. So the solar self refuses to be ordinary. It's kind of like, it doesn't want to be ordinary. It wants to get out there. Many people are maybe putting along in their lives, and then a major transit will happen to kick off this idea that there's a deeper purpose in life. So we've got, I don't know does anybody know what this is from? I'm so addicted to the show. Oh my goodness, I can't even handle it. I hope no spoilers. But yeah, so good. Oh my goodness. It is. It's the best. I love that show. So good. Yeah, we do. We come from different perspectives. So here's the significance of the sun. I don't know. I had to put that one in there. So yeah, we've got the step parent here. Oh yeah, so we're about to talk about this. So yeah, many people are putting along in their lives and a major transit happens, and then it kicks off this idea that there's a deeper purpose in life. Like, okay, so Uranus is one of those planets, and I'm really, really digging into Uranus lately. Uranus is tied in with awakening. Awakening on a global level as well as on a personal level. If you have a major Uranus transit, it's like, oh boom, you know, this is happening. I didn't realize. It's an awakening of the solar principle. It may coincide with a period of inner exploration. There could be a crisis of some kind that comes about with the Uranus transit. It happens with Pluto. If you have a Pluto Mars transit, that can be a really uncomfortable sort of catalytic situation that kind of sparks off the call to action, your call to adventure. But yeah, it could be a crisis of some kind. It leaves depression, discontent. You're not going to feel comfortable. We're going to talk about mutability and what that's all about. But the solar goals are inner. Your solar goals are inner. They're concerned with self-realization, experiencing life as special and meaningful. You know, the idea that I have potentials that have yet to be fulfilled. Let's see here. It's our responsibility to our son. If we don't leap and make a creative contribution in some way, then we're going to sense this sort of like nagging. Can't leave the world without having expressed myself. You know, it's really important. Throughout life, there's going back to this one. You know, there's always that stepmother, that wicked stepmother, or you know, those you might even have like peers or there's a theme of envy that starts in childhood or persecution. one element of the solar hero's childhood is that he's envied or persecuted without even ever knowing why. And so that might be something that I know, Jen, we've talked about how that's something that you relate to on a deep level. But yeah, other kids, envy will come up repeatedly throughout your solar journey. The sun is special. It invokes jealousy in others. And so, if you're expressing it, it's very possible that others might be, kind of put off by it if they're not expressing theirs, in their way. If the sun remains unconscious, it can equally invoke destructive envy of others and in oneself. So let's see here. I want to go ahead and look at a couple of charts here. So we've got Reese Witherspoon. I just want to kind of like point out one of the things that's really interesting about the 40s is you have like all of this crazy like conglomeration of planets that just kind of click in, and it's like, whoa, hold on. Those outer planet transits. But yeah, so for example, we've got Reese Witherspoon. Here's a Uranus right here. It's the one that looks like a little antenna. Okay. She was born in 1976 in her 40s. She's got Uranus over here. These are the transits. The ones that are on the outside are the transits. So this is happening right now. She's got her Uranus opposite Uranus. And so this is going to be clicking some sort of like, oh my goodness, I've got to do something, that midlife crisis that folks talk about or that you've probably experienced if you've gone through it. It's like, there's an awakening that happens during that time. There's also another, let's see here, we've got, Neptune is another one that, that's another transit. Neptune square Neptune will happen, and that's a really interesting transit. It's sort of like dreamy, I'm really dreamy. I'm gonna go do, I'm gonna go off and I'm going to start a business. That's crazy. Right. And so that's another transit that happens at this time. You also have a Saturn transit. It's a Saturn opposition. That's yet another one that happens. And that's I've done all these things in my life, and this is all the stuff that it's that, reality of time starts to hit you at that time. So that's a Saturn transit. So all of a sudden, like these transits are all kind of feeding into the solar principle. And at this point, you have an interesting sort of, that midlife crisis that, we all talk. Benedict Cumberbatch, yet another one. Okay, you've got I'm like, Benedict Cumberbatch, anyone? So here we go, Uranus opposing Uranus, and then we've got transiting Saturn across from his Saturn right there, and then we've got Neptune. Let's see, and then we square his Neptune, so it makes a sort of a 90-degree angle. So that's what that is. This is. I'm going to hold off on that one. We'll talk about that later, but I do want to talk about the moon. I see another chat. Let's see. Makes sense. Awesome. So glad. Yay. So yeah, we're going to move on to, the moon in our chart. And this is, I think, Renee, you were talking about that you relate to your moon a lot more, and there's a reason for that. And one of the reasons is that, okay, the moon, it's not striving to develop goals. It's self-nourishing. It's regressive in nature. It pulls us back to the past, and that mother-child bond. Our basic emotional bodily needs don't change at the core. Our body life is just it stays, it's what's sustaining. As we start to feel uncomfortable, then we look to our moon and we start to express whatever it is that our moon wants to is asking us to do, to nourish ourselves. Our moon is nourishment. And so so say if your moon is in Pisces, then you're going to gravitate whenever things start to feel uncomfortable. You're going to gravitate and you're going to move toward your moon. If you have your moon in Aries, then you're going to get busy doing lots and lots of things when you start to feel uncomfortable. It's not going to be a, I'm just going to hang back and chill. It's, I want to get a lot of stuff done. We realize at some point that our mother can't protect us forever, that the place that we've come from, where we once were, where we once received comfort, it's not necessarily a place that we can stay, and it leads us into this call for adventure. And as humans, we're always on a quest for comfort and pleasure, but this is not necessarily what our sun wants. It wants to get out there. It's the more exploring, that's the more adventurous part. And then we have the moon that's like, no, but really, we don't got to do that. If your moon is in a mutable, and we'll talk about mutable in a minute, but if your moon is in a mutable sign, then you might feel more comfortable getting busy doing things without having any purpose for them. So I wonder if that'll make sense in a minute. But so yeah, let's see here. Yes, the moon is nourishing. Yeah. This is all cool stuff. I'm really geeked about it. So yeah, if your sun and moon are opposing one another, then your sun wants you to go out into the world, and like say your sun is in a air sign, then it wants you to connect with others, but your moon is going to be asking you to do something else. It's going to be a fiery moon, and your fiery moon is going to be saying, hey, you've got your own projects that you want to deal with. You don't necessarily want to get out there and doing things. So yeah, if those two are opposing, that would be a full moon sort of situation. Then you're going to be experiencing that throughout your life. But yeah, I feel you might feel that this sense of solar purpose is pulling you to connect with others, and yeah, they don't agree. And so you have to kind of like, it's really nice to be able to notice, oh, that's my moon. It's just my moon speaking. And so I'm going to go ahead, I can nourish my moon for a minute, but then I need to get out and choose whatever it is that my sun is asking me to do. So for me, that's been incredibly, incredibly helpful. Just over the past month, I really started to dive into the moon, and I was like, oh, this is so, I'm able to finally understand why it is I get busy with all this stuff, with my moon in Aries. I get busy with a bunch of stuff, just kind of spinning around in circles, not really doing anything, so. While my son wants to get out there and go, from point A to point B, that's that masculine energy. Moon is more like, let's just hang out. Let's just chill. Let's just be open. So yeah, in your call to adventure, we receive the call. We'll do it. Let's see here. Let me check and see. Yeah. Call to adventure. So, yeah, it happens in a lot of different ways. Our parents might push us out. There will be a catastrophic event. There might be a sudden change, an internal stirring. Astrologically, you've got the Saturn cycles. I just talked about the Saturn cycles, like 7, 14, 28, 35. Yeah, so every 7 years you go through a Saturn transit. Every what is it, I want to say about 20-ish years you go through a Uranus transit. Very slow with the Pluto, thank goodness. But yeah, Drew Barrymore, for example, like she was in rehab at 14. What? Like who else had things going on when they were 14? Like that's a big one. 7 is a big one. Parents get divorced when kids are 7. It's really interesting. Like often teaching first grade, second grade, it's a thing. So it's very interesting to see how these kind of unfold. Uranus cycles 20 to 22, 40 to 44, 63 to 65, and 84 is the last Saturn Uranus cycle. And so that's an interesting one where it's, it's kind of ushering you into this great awakening. Wow. Gives me chills. But yeah, Uranus can can kick off upheaval, disaster, especially in myth. Um, on a generational level, on a worldwide level, famine, plague, invasion, that sort of thing. Could be like in myth, the old king is dying and there's no known heir, that sort of thing. The call to adventure also often comes after a Uranian awakening following a Plutonian crisis. So we can talk more about that later. Okay, so yeah, so just think back to a time when you felt that everything that you had been pressed, just completely just like squished, like life was just kind of like squishing you like a sponge, it was wringing you out. And anything that you once knew, that you had come to know to be true about yourself, it had to fall away. In the Hindu tradition, you would call on like Kali Ma, and Kali would take away anything that isn't needed. That would be Pluto. Oh, the last 2 weeks. Oh no, really? Oh yeah, it's rough. It's a Pluto, that's a Pluto thing. It's that wringing out, and it's painful since we come to know certain things as truth. And you know what, you guys, if you have to go at any point, I totally understand, because I know I'm going over an hour. I'm working on this time thing. I'm so sorry. But yeah, feel free if you need to jump off, that's okay. And if you have any questions and if you'd like for me to look at anything, feel free to just send them to me and I'll get to you. But yeah, so this can be painful since we've come to know this as truth. Dislodging from truth is a painful process. And Uranus then brings on an awakening, kind of like jolts you awake and says, hey, you didn't need all that stuff. All right, let's move forward, and this is serving your sun, yet again, serving your sun. And so again, yeah, I talked about looking at the chart. Alrighty, so there's a difference between a true call to adventure and something that's a fantasy, that's considered a fantasy. A childhood fantasy is like a call to action. It may be, inflated or ego-driven. The true solar call to action is different though. So you may think that you have found it at some point, but then a Pluto transit happens and then it's like, wait a minute, that's not where I'm supposed to be, you may lose grasp of what you thought it once was. I know when I had my major Pluto Mars transit, that's when my stepdaughter passed away. Then it was like, wait a minute, whoa, hold on. My life is not going in the direction that I once thought it should be going. That Pluto really shook things up. And then now it's, now there's a interesting sort of Uranus thing happening where it's like, okay, now I'm waking up to what wants to happen, to what my sun, what my solar self wants. So the Pluto transit is going to be the test, so that in myth, that Pluto transit would be, the test that the hero goes through, in stories and movies and stuff. And this always seems to happen at the right time, like, oh, I was going along and my life was like this. And then all of a sudden at the right time, this major catastrophe happened. And so, yeah, that could happen. You may feel that things were going one way and then there was like a snap, and then everything changed. This test must be passed before you're granted access to what is coming. So this period's chaotic. There's a lot happening. This is, again, that very beginning. It's the call to action. You don't necessarily, the call to adventure, you don't necessarily want to go on it. You're very, very used to just kind of like digging your heels and it's the earth part. You don't want it to happen, and this is the earthquake. So it's chaotic. There's a lot happening. It doesn't happen once in your life. It happens, as you know, it meant multiple periods in your life. Relationships can provide us with this awakening as well. Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Relationships can provide us with this. Venus Uranus transits can. These people can. So Venus Uranus, if you have a Venus Uranus transit or even a Venus Uranus like meetup in your chart, this can represent a person that, or people that transform our consciousness. So the call is going to continue to come back over and over again, even though you've declared that you don't want to deal with it anymore. So sorry, it's going to keep on kind of pulling you toward that solar purpose. So eventually, after you accept the call, after you're like, okay, all right, Pluto, thanks. I've dealt with all I need to deal with. You don't need to ring me out anymore. It'll just continue to ring you out until you're like, oh, uncle, I can't do it anymore. And then the Uranus comes in. And at this point, you'll receive a helper of some sort, or assistance, divine or human or animal sources will come into your life, provided by, in myth, it's provided by a divine parent of some sort, a mortal parent. Like in the myth of Perseus, he goes to destroy Medusa, and Athena comes along and she's like, hey, do you need, how about this shield? So you can reflect Medusa's reflection back to her, and so we can connect with myth. Connecting with myth makes us human. There's a whole lot of mythology in astrology, as some of you probably already know. And there's all these archetypes, and this pulling in these archetypes makes us human and puts us in touch with the psychological aspects of the planets, really. But this token, this thing that is given to the hero, it's there to help throughout the tests and throughout the challenges, but he's given every single opportunity to achieve his goal after being shown his gifts. So when we're approached by this divine support, we know that we're on a journey, and we may say, no, that's okay. You can go off and you can, go do your thing. It's too much right now. It's normal to feel outside of your comfort zone and to want to go back to lunar tendencies at this point. But we know that if we stay connected to that lunar world, the one that is so familiar would be detrimental to our personal development. So our sun wants to continue moving forward. The lunar part of us wants to stay comfortable and stay back. You know what, you guys, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to actually pause this for just a second. And I actually I'm running out of juice with my cord. or with my computer. So I'm going to go run and take care of that. If you guys want to take a bathroom break or something, feel free. Sound good? Okay, great.
Tony?
Yeah.
I have one quick question. So G was kind enough to pull out my chart that you made for me. And I'm looking at it, and it looks like my moon is in, I think it's Gemini. It looks like it says. What does that mean?
Your moon is in Gemini. I want to look at your chart real fast. Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead. You can pull it up if you want.
Oh man. Okay, so I don't have yours in here. Let me see. I've got it in Astro. So I don't know if you guys know about astro.com, but that's what I have been using forever and ever and ever to put people's, let's see. Here we go. All right. So you have got you've got your moon in Gemini in the 11th house. So that's going to be mutable. That's also going to be a, sort of that's going to be a very busy moon. It's also going to be communication. If you you might find it really comforting to really get into learning a lot of different things.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and connecting with other people and even sharing information, like, yeah, I can only imagine what it's like in your home, with your boys. Like, sit down, let me tell you something. That's going to give you a lot of comfort. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share screen again. Let me make sure I've got the right, there we go. All right, great. And here we go. All right, we're moving on. Okay, so I don't know if I'm on the right one. Yeah. Okay, so acquire helper assistance. I thought these were so darn cute. I just like Mushu is, I think he's one of my favorite forms of divine support. I just don't even know if he's divine. Yeah, Star Wars is full of them. I don't even know what Jar Jar is. Don't even get me started on that, but I can't even handle it.
Jar Jar.
I'm like, what is he? Oh my gosh, Timon and Pumbaa. You've got, so yeah, these are our divine support. Let's see. I'm finding my spot here again. Sorry, everyone. Let's see. So yeah, so the divine support, they appear when the call has been answered. They know what the hero needs, and the hero is doing something for the collective, so they have no problem offering it. But the hero may not know that they're doing something for the collective. They're just doing something for themselves, they think. Now, this is the interesting thing about the call to adventure or the hero's journey is you may feel, and I feel it's interesting because, a lot of people in their 20s are like, oh, I'm going to do this. And they think it's going to make a big difference because it's for others. Like say the parents said, you should go do this. So they follow that and they realize that that's not what, later on down the line, say they have their midlife crisis, with all of those planets clicking in. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, I'm not meant to do that. I'm meant to do something completely different. And then they end up going in a different direction. So yeah, in the Legend of Perseus, Athena offers the shield. Hades gives him a helmet of invisibility. Hermes gives him winged sandals. Out of his magician's hat, Hermes is associated with Mercury. Hades is associated with Pluto, and Athena, not one of the. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so yeah, they believe they can see that him tapping into that hero's journey and connecting with that solar self is going to bring out, it's going to link in with the fabric of the collective, and it's going to move everybody forward. All of humanity, not just him. Even though he might just be thinking, oh, it's for me. It's not necessarily just for you. So that's why it's so important. And especially now that Uranus is in Taurus, this is a it's such a strong, Uranus is the great awakener. Then you have Taurus, which is doing things for pleasure. So it's, awakening to doing things for pleasure, following whatever your bliss is. It's so important to do that. And if you're doing that, you're connecting it up with your solar self and you're able to move forward. You're doing the thing. You're doing it. Right. So the hero is redeeming a problem that's much bigger than themselves. May think he's doing it for himself. And in the myth of Perseus, Medusa symbolizes not only his own personal dilemma, but also a problem with the collective psyche. So we may think that our problems are just ours, our own, but in reality, they span, it can be the entire, it's the world, really. And I feel like this past year, we really saw a lot of that come to light, you know, our own personal issues. You know, we started to see ourselves reflected in all of humanity, and it was really fascinating. But yeah, there's, in the symbolism, the collective unconscious depends on each individual's authenticity to fulfill its greater design. And it takes a union of being motivated on the level of the self to live in authentic alignment with one's truth. This thread of authenticity is woven into the collective tapestry. So your desires are unique. They're unique. And that's what's so important. I for the longest time, I thought, oh, everybody wants this, everybody wants to, to be a writer, everybody wants to, the same things that I want, and come to find out that's not true. I was like, oh, everybody has different wants and different desires and different dreams. And so that's why it's so important to follow those. Your desires are unique, and they're not just by chance. There's a reason why you desire what you do, and you may think it's selfish to follow it, but in reality, it's part of the greater whole, So this is why being honest with what you truly desire is so important. And this is when guides will arrive for you. Not when you're, trying to make others happy. It's when you're in the flow of co-creation. And this is solar fuel, really. So let me see if, yeah, there we go. Perseus. Perseus with the heads. All right. So there's a level of identity that was given to us by others, by parents, by society, depending on how long you've been living. I mean, there's just like piles and piles and piles of just cultural, sociocultural stuff that gets layered onto us throughout our lives. And it's, it's like, we've got to find our way through that. Our sun has to find its way through it. Yeah. So in the movement practice for this week, again, you're moving from the ground and you're moving up. It's a short practice. It's called the 7-minute workout. It's a Nia 7-minute workout. It's something that you can use to actually tap into where you are in your own journey. If you have this decision that you need to make, it's something that you can use to help you make decisions. And it's incredibly helpful. So I'll be posting that along with this video in the portal. It should be up by the end of today, your tomorrow. So, but yeah. And let's see here. Moving from the ground up, going from one movement to the next is something that should come from a true desire to move on to the next stage. So be true to yourself. So you're going to start from just kind of like laying in a lump on the ground. And once you feel like you feel that urge to move, then you do it, And so, and this is just, it's very much a metaphor for life as well. So let's see here. Good. Okay, bye, Kathy. Good. Okay. So, I can't talk about the sun's expression without talking about the elements, the modes, the polarities. So we're going to go there. I was just going to talk to you guys about each of the signs, but instead I feel like it's going to be a lot more helpful to talk about this stuff. So I'm going to pull up my notes on this one. All right. So we have the elements, modes, and polarities. The elements, we've got fire, water, earth, and air. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are all fire. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And the air signs are all Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So we'll talk about each of those elements in a minute. We're also going to be talking about the modes. Now, the modes are so key. This is so important. But let's see. we'll start off with these. So with fire is the intuitive type. Okay, who here is a fire sign? I don't know if we have very many fire signs here. Do we? I can't remember. It can also be very helpful, the fire signs with the moon. So you can, if you have your moon in a fire sign, this can be helpful as well. Okay, my younger son is a fire sun and very intuitive. Yes, it's intuitive. It's an intuitive sign. Stands for intuition, unconscious knowing, inferring what is perceived. Okay, so a fire people can walk in and just know what to do. It's like there's a puzzle that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even look like a puzzle, but they walk in and it's like all of a sudden they seem to know what they're doing with it. It's like, what? That's a fire type. Not so much interested in the material form and qualities of an object, but they just instantly ask themselves, where does it come from? Or what else can you do with it? They're focused on possibilities, discovery, future, their dynamic play. They dream about lots of different possibilities of the future, but on the path toward the future, they easily change ideas and can discover new possibilities. So again, if you've got your moon in Aries, it's like, oh, yep, I can recognize how I can jump from one thing to the next. No problem. Needs enough freedom, and the fire signs need freedom and exploration, and the world is full of possibilities, and they just get so excited about that. There's lots of optimism with fire people. Routine work can be difficult. They need a challenge. And so, yes, you may notice that your sun and your moon kind of like, it's like, oh, that's not my sun sign, but I do recognize that with my moon. That is how I nurture myself. So that might make sense. And I feel like this is really important, especially when it comes to just the self-care movement. When you have lots of folks talking about self-care, it's like sitting and hanging out isn't necessarily going to be the thing that's nurturing to me. Instead, the nurturing thing to me is to take a bunch of courses, load it up on my plate, get overwhelmed. That's fun, So, all right, moving on to the fire or the earth or water type. And okay, so the earth and the water type are both yin. They're both yin associated with lunar. So the water type is the feeling type. They experience emotions. That's something like, say there's an object in the room, they will have an emotional reaction to it. Their first reaction will be an emotional one. They desire or feel aversion. If they desire it or feel aversion to it, they will accept or reject, based on their feelings. They need to give a feeling value to everything. Does it feel good or doesn't it feel good? Is it pleasurable or is it not pleasurable? So decisions are going to be made based on that. Whereas with fire people, it might just be like, ooh, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. Water people are going to need to feel into it. Water folks they may feel bad about someone or something that is hard, let's see, may feel bad about someone or something. It's hard to, so they may not be able to explain why they feel the way they feel. They may need to just kind of like allow it to be for a long time, and then eventually they will explain why. Not necessarily interested in logic and feelings. They are interested in navigating based on feelings. And this also gives them security. Need to be emotionally involved in order to be able to function. And if the atmosphere feels good, he's open for communication. And if not, the water person needs to hide to themselves and just kind of like go inward, like, very lunar. All right, so moving on to Earth. Earth signs again are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The earth is a sensation type. They perceive the material world the way it is, feel secure in seeing, touching, perceiving objects with the senses. Everything is possible. There might be a feeling that everything is possible. Felt out, tested for concrete value with the senses. Doesn't that sound so Virgo? Prefers to build a solid practical basis for his future, lives more in the here and now, and has an excellent eye for the world of matter, structures, that sort of thing. Capricorn is interested in structures. And air. Finally, we've got air. And also, fire and air are yang, that they're more masculine, the kind of up. You've got earth and water down. Okay. Fire, water, or fire and air are up. So you've got the feminine down, masculine up. So with air, air is the thinking type, wants to comprehend what an object is. They need to connect facts in a logical way in order to understand them. The mind is that of an abstract thinker, need to connect with other people to discuss things, need to communicate, need to be able to communicate and kind of bounce ideas off of them. Flexible in their thoughts and their speech. They're not very rigid, whereas, an earth person is going to be more rigid and very grounded. And then air folks might be able to shift. Air is very shifty. Need to be rational and logical to feel secure in the world. Needs explanations and loves to explain himself. I don't know. I'm an air person. I don't really like explaining myself. So I'm like, I'll defer to my lunar for that one, to my Aries moon for that one. Trouble with expressing feelings, and as these are absolutely irrational and not logic for them. So again, if any of these don't necessarily resonate with your sun, like, I don't necessarily feel like I resonate with that, I am not that, then you might want to look to your moon, because that might be where you're, defaulting to for comfort. So, all right. Now the modalities. The modalities tell us what a sign needs to cope with difficulties and address them. So before processing problems, we need certain circumstances to be in place. So again, here's the modalities. Cardinal. Cardinal relates to the beginning of a season. And we've got Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. That's the beginning. Fixed relates to the middle of this season, and that's Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. There's just so much juice in this right here. So I'm not necessarily going to tell you what each of the signs mean, but once you have this down, then it's like, oh my goodness, I know so much more about the signs now. So that's fixed. Mutable is at the end of the season. It's changeable. That's Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo. So, here we go, going to Cardinal. So yeah, they tell us what a sign needs to cope with so if you have children, and it might be interesting just to think about their modalities, what they need to cope with differences and address them. Before processing problems, we need certain circumstances in place. And so these can tell us what conditions we need to have met in order to digest what is coming, into us. As we receive our call to adventure, what is it that we need in place in order to move forward? And your sun might need one thing, and your moon might need a totally different thing. And so this is where choice really becomes important. You want to consider what it is that your sun, your solar sign, needs, and just try it out, just see what happens. It might be interesting. You might be like, oh, okay, I guess that is true that I need that a little bit more. My sun seems to be happy. I feel happier when I actually do that. It may not be the same thing that your moon wants. So it tells us what conditions we need to have met in order to digest what is coming into our path. So they're simply conditions, that they're not necessarily tools. Let's see, they reflect what we need to continue functioning in daily life in times of stress and problems. These are felt stronger during times of stress. So here we go. Cardinal, once again, our cardinal is Aries. Let's see here. Do you want me to go over the cardinals again? Do you guys want me to tell you what the cardinals are? I think we got them. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so cardinal correlates with beginnings, has outward movement in the direction of the unfolding of the season. You know, Aries is like, here we go, it's spring, let's do this. Focus on the world outside. So, oh, here we go. Never mind. We've got the signs here: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So they're focusing outside of themselves. They must know that they belong to a group. They are fine if they know that they are not alone, and the focus is on relationship. With fixed signs, fixed sign is at the height of the season. So again, cardinal is like initiating energy, like, let's go, let's do this, like, come on. So if you have a lot of cardinal in your chart, you know, you may be like you may have your sun in a fixed sign, but realize that you're very like there's a lot of cardinal energy. It's something that you might want to look at in your chart. You might have a lot of planets in cardinal signs. That could be why. So fixed is at the height of the season. It's consolidating, full expression of the season. You need to consolidate, like there's a feeling of a need to consolidate. There's a need to focus in on the inner world, and they can't really move easily if there are problems. So Taurus, I know Taurus folks are like, they're not necessarily going to budge unless you back them into a corner, and then they'll just start swinging. And it's like, then you got to be careful. So Leo's height of the season, you know, it's like, whoa, look at your Leo, wherever Leo is in your chart too. You might want to look there just to, because Leo, the planet that goes with Leo is the sun. So it might be interesting. That might provide some insight for you as well. Scorpio and Aquarius are all fixed signs. They need to psychologically close the blinds. I killed the spelling on that one. I don't know what happened there. There we go. They need to be able to psychologically close the blinds. They can't necessarily be like they're not necessarily the extrovert type, although there are those. Disturbing them means that they will take longer, and focusing on the self. Scorpio, I know that's very, very true for Scorpio. If you try to push a Scorpio to get through an emotional situation, like say you're fighting with a Scorpio, you don't want to push it, you know, just allow it to be, you know, for a long time, you know, just allow them to kind of close the blinds to process, because it takes a lot of time. Scorpios are really processing things at a much deeper level than I think a lot of the signs do. So it's really, really interesting. Finally, we have mutable. And they're my Virgo people. It's transitioning. It's this is very, you know, like very movable energy, moving in a new direction. It's you know, doing all the things. They need restlessness. They almost need it in order to do something. They need mobility when there are problems or stressful situations. So Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces are all mutable signs, and they need constant movement, literal moving, you know, like my wife is a Virgo and she's like, all right, we've been here for more than 3 years. I'm done. Like we can move now. They want to be able to rearrange things, do lots of different things. Problem solvers, they focus on movement. So once again, cardinal are focusing on relationship, fixed are focusing on the self. They go inward. And then mutable is focused on movement. All right. So I'll leave that up for a second. All righty. So when you combine both the elements and the modalities, it can really provide you with a pretty good, rich background of knowledge of, of I think each of the signs. Yeah. So, all right. I'm going to go back to this one. So Yin or Taurus, Cancer, Virgo. When you look at a wheel, I'm going to show you guys a wheel, I think probably next time. But yeah, when you look at the wheel, you can see it's just really fascinating how each of them kind of like go together. You have all of the Yin signs that connect with each other and all the Yang signs that connect with each other. And it's pretty fascinating. So Yin are once again going to be the earth and water folks, and the Yang are going to be the air and fire folks. So yeah, and the sun in each sign. This, would it be helpful if I share these with you? Okay, I'm going to share these slides with you. That way you can have this and you can use this to kind of refer to. But this is just kind of a cheat sheet. So wherever your sun is, this is what you're moving towards. Wherever your moon is, you can look at there too. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that. I'll let you kind of read through that. Aries, the pioneer, daredevil, I am. So you've got the manifestos here. But yeah, I can also send this to you in a, yeah, I'll do it. I'll send it to you guys. Right. Okay. So our practices this week, we've got a movement practice for you to do. We have a creative practice. It's going to be relating to connecting with the sun and kind of bursting out. And your homework is to go in the group and post your work as well as the takeaways you receive from doing your movement practice. So your creative work, so that's your assignment. Fun assignments, I hope. All right. And are there any, we're going to go ahead and we'll stop right here, but are there any questions for now? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I have a question about Uranus opposite your sun.
Yeah.
And how that might affect, the hero's journey, if it's affecting you personally.
Yes, definitely. That is also Uranus. Whenever it comes to Uranus, it's going to be a waking up, just an awakening of some sort. Remind me, where is your sun again?
Scorpio.
So that would put because Uranus would be in Taurus then. So that's happening for you right now.
Yeah.
This might be for you. I'd like to look at the house position for that for you too. Do you know what house is your sun in?
I think it's 7.
7. So then that would put your Taurus in your first house. So that's
right.
Very much about that's great awakening of the self.
Oh, okay.
Just everything about you, like almost like you're unpacking lots of stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finding out who I am since I've retired, and so many things have changed in my life. I think I was confusing the Uranus with Pluto, where you were talking about feeling like you were being squeezed. And I don't know. I know a lot of stuff's in Aquarius too right now, and so I think I've got some squares going on too. So
yes.
But yeah, I've been feeling twisted.
If you have planets in the fixed signs, you're feeling everything that's happening in Aquarius right now. I can guarantee it. Yeah. So yeah, again, all of those fixed signs. We've got Leo, Aquarius, of course, Scorpio, and let me see. I'm forgetting one. Let me see. I see chats too, so I'm like, yay. Oh, good, great. Yay, Renee. I think are you taking off, Renee? All right. All right. Oh, Jane, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Fire, Leo. Yeah, Leo is. So we've got Earth. Yeah, Taurus is fixed. Air is Aquarius. Fire is Leo, and water is Scorpio. Those are all the fixed signs there. So, did I say 1, 2 times? I think I maybe did. Anyway. All righty. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so what we're gonna do next time, I want to go into that a little bit. We're gonna do, next time we're going to go into the houses. The week after, we're going to go into the aspects, because so the houses are going to tell you where specifically in your life you're going to be focusing a lot of your energy. And the third week aspects, those are the aspects relate to our relationships, and they also relate to the gifts that we are given in order to fight our battles and our challenges. And then finally in week 4, we'll play a little bit more with charts, and we'll do a lot more with that. So I hope that's helpful. Let me see. Yay, Jen, you're welcome. Thank you, Sherry. Yes, Uranus is significant right now. Yeah, because the sun is in Aquarius. It's huge. Yes, both the Uranus. Yeah, the sun is in Aquarius. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Jane, your sun is in Aquarius. The sun was just in Aquarius, but now it's in Pisces. It's moving on. But yeah. So Uranus is significant right now. But yeah, since there are so many things going on in Aquarius right now, we've got Saturn in Aquarius right now, and that's squaring Uranus, and that's a doozy. That just on a worldwide level. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna close the circle. Let me see. So glad. Yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jen. She said, this is so fascinating. Love all this. Thank you for this. I'm geeking out with all of this stuff. I was just, I don't know. I was up until midnight last night, like putting this stuff together, and I'm like, but there's all this stuff and I want to put it all in. So I'm all excited. I love it. Love sharing this with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and close the circle. We're going to thank the higher powers and close the circle. So let there be peace to the east. Let there be peace to the south. Let there be peace to the west. Let there be peace to the north. Let there be peace to the lowest. Let there be peace to the highest. Let there be peace all around and peace within. We now ask and affirm that this cosmic circle be dissolved and that all our energies be returned to their rightful owners, so that we are free to go on our way unencumbered by the energy and karma of any person, spirit, entity, or thing. So be it, and so it is. Aho. So stop the share there. Thank you, guys. All right, I'm going to stop the recording.